Hello, I'm Robert Monroe Turner with Genetix Web Design and Development. This video is an introduction and demonstration to Genetix Web Design's Unity one-page websites made easy. Unity is a WordPress plugin developed by Genetix Web Design and Development. It is designed to be used with Genesis framework, and also it is very compatible with the dynamic website builder from Cobalt Apps. So let's get down to it and see what this Unity plugin is all about. So I have here a basic website set up, and the colors that I used for this website are designed to have a lot of contrast, and I did this so that it could better demonstrate the functionality of the Genetix Unity WordPress plugin. So let's go ahead and take a look at it, and I'll click on the links, and you can see it scrolls up, and we have different sections here for the website. Okay, now how I went about putting these links, these page sections here, is all what Unity is all about. So let's go ahead and take a look at the plugin itself. Okay, let me go ahead. When you get the plugin, you'll download a zip file, and in that zip file will be the actual, when you uncompress it, you'll have the actual plugin zip file, which you could download as you upload to your WordPress site as you would any other plugin. However, there is also an additional file that you will have to upload to your theme folder, primary theme folder. And let's go ahead and look at what that does. And what it will do, it's a template file, and for the home page that you use for your one-page website, you'll select this template here, dynamic home. So what that does is it adds the other page sections to your front page, the other pages. So how do you select which pages actually appear on the front page of your one-page website? And for that, we go right here to menus, and you'll see that the Genetix Unity has installed a new menu to your theme. It's the Genetix Unity menu. Dragging and dropping pages into your menu is how you select what is going to appear on your one-page website. For example, here I have home, our vision, services, contact us, and I also have an external link that links to a different page on the website, and I'll show you that later, how that works. Back to our menu here. Let's say, for example, I wanted to rearrange the pages. Okay, there. I switch these two around, save the menu, and when I refresh my page, okay, you'll notice that these two have been switched around. So now their order is different. So I can also, I'll put that back the way it was. I can also add pages, add to menu. I'll put that here. Let's save our menu. Okay. And let's refresh. And now we see that we've added a page section to our front page of our one-page website, and here it is. That's the page we just added in right there. So it's quite easy to add pages, remove pages, rearrange them in the order that you like. Unity takes care of it all, and it appears very nicely on your one-page website. So as you can see here is the Unity plugin installed. Okay, with our plugin information. Let's take a look at the actual Genetix Unity admin settings panel. So here we are at the Genetix Unity menu settings. The first setting here is show only on home page. So if you have it set to yes, the Genetix Unity menu will only appear on your home page, and on all your other pages you will see your standard Genesis menu or your dynamic menus. Next, we have the menu position, and you can set the Unity menu to be either before your header or after your header. And the next setting here is the sticky menu top margin. And what this is, when your sticky top margin is set to 0, when your page scrolls up, there will be no margin, 0 margin here between the top of your page and the top of your menu. If I come in here and put a setting, for example 10, which is, they are pixels, I save it. Now I go back, refresh my page, and now when I click on a link, we have a 10 pixel margin between the top of the page and the top of your sticky menu. So if I go back and I change this to 30 pixels, well, we're going to have a 30 pixel margin. And let's take a look at that. Okay, I'll click on this link here. Now we have 30 pixels. So it's really great because you can control the top margin of your sticky menu with this setting. So if I click on a link, you're going to notice that this top of this page section isn't actually up against the bottom of the menu here. It's actually 10 pixels below the bottom of the menu. So if I wanted to change that to 20 pixels, okay, and now I'll refresh the page. I'll click on the link again. Now we have a 20 pixel difference here. So looking at the menu settings here, I've set the sticky menu top margin at 10, and the page section scroll to position vertical offset at -30. So when would any of this ever be useful? Let's say, for example, your web page design has margins in between the different page sections, and you would want to have a gap here from the bottom of your menu to the top of your page sections. You want a gap. You want a margin there for artistic reasons. With Unity menu, you can easily set that up. If you don't want any space between the bottom of your menu and the top of your page section, just set this to auto. Our next setting is the menu active state vertical offset. Again, most of the time you would just set this to auto. Let's say you have added borders on your nav bar, for example the top and the bottom. I'll set a 3 pixel border. I've used this blue color here because it contrasts well and we can see the effect better. Now let's take a look at our menu. Here we can see the borders we've added to our menu, and let's go ahead and scroll this here. Okay, so I have our menu settings for this parameter set on auto, and also the menu active state vertical is set to auto. Save that. Now let's take a look at the effect this has on our website. I'll click on this link here. I've set this menu to transparent. It's semi-transparent, and let me go ahead and adjust that so we can see it better. Also, I've set the menu to be even more transparent here so we can see the effect of what's going on here. Okay, so you can see that since I've added the borders, this page section here is not actually on the bottom here. It's actually going up underneath our nav bar, and that is because we've added an additional 6 pixels, 3 pixels on top for our border and 3 pixels on the bottom for our border. So that's a total of 6 pixels. So we have a 6 pixel difference here. Now, let me go ahead and show you how to fix that. I'll click auto off. This is set to 10, and whatever this parameter is, you have to enter a negative value here. So I'll put 10, but I need to also add the 6 pixels that our borders added to the height of our nav bar. So I'll add that in. Okay, let's go in, save our changes, go back to our menu, refresh our home page. Now let's scroll up, and now it's exactly on the bottom here. We were able to compensate for the difference in our nav bar height that our borders added. And that's how our page section scroll to position vertical offset works. One other note here, I'll click on a link. This link looks perfectly up against the bottom of the menu. However, with this link here, I can see a slight gap here. Okay, right there, you can see this little white line under here, like this in between here. I'll use the Genetix Unity menu settings to eliminate that. I'm actually going to subtract a half a pixel from this setting, so it'll be 15.5 pixels. I'll save that. Refresh our home page. Now I'll click on the link. It's perfect. The gap is eliminated. So with Genetix Unity menu settings, you can literally achieve split pixel perfect scrolling. Genetix Unity is an amazing plugin, and it allows you to express your creative freedom. Sometimes when you're working with the Genetix Unity menu settings, you'll be changing parameters. You'll go to your website homepage, you'll refresh, seemingly nothing is changing. Sometimes refreshing the web page won't show the updated parameter settings. So you'll have to just, from your menu, click your visit site. Then you'll be able to see the updated settings correctly. Our next setting here is the menu active state vertical offset. What this does is it sets how far up your page section scrolls before the active state on your nav bar engages for your particular page section. For example, if I click on our vision, how far up does this page section have to go before we see the active state engaged on our nav bar? So you can adjust that setting here with your menu active state vertical offset. Most of the time just set it on auto. Unless you experience a problem such as the active state not showing when you scroll to a particular page section, then you can adjust this parameter so that the nav bar displays its active state for the page section correctly. Our next setting here is our scroll speed, and it's set to milliseconds, as most scrolling software is for websites. So 1000 equals 1 second. 500 equals half a second. So I'll change that. I'll save it. And you can see here our website is scrolling at right here it's set to 1 second, 1000. And I'll refresh the page. And since I set our admin settings for the Unity menu at 500 milliseconds, now it'll scroll in half that speed, which is half a second. Now we'll take a look at the scroll easing setting. And what this is it controls the manner of which your page will scroll. In the natural world, most things do not move in a linear fashion. For example, a train doesn't take off at 60 miles an hour and stops at 60 miles an hour. It'll start slow and it'll stop slow. So to give your page scrolling a natural effect, then you should use scroll easing. And we have a lot of different settings here. And to see what those settings actually do, there are some very useful websites on the internet. For example, this page here, which is matthewlean.com experiments/easing. You can Google this and find it under jQuery easing examples. So for example, linear is exactly that. It maintains constant speed. But for example, swing here, it starts a little slow and then it has a soft stop. For example, swing here has a bit of a more organic movement. And let's take a look at some of these other ones here. For example, down here, ease out, where are you? Ease in, out, bounce. Here you are, ease out, bounce. Okay, what does that do? Okay. You notice it kind of bounces when at the end of its animation. See that? So that's ease out, bounce. And this gives you an example of how jQuery easing examples work. So let's go ahead and apply that to our website. I'll set this to a slow speed, 3 seconds for example. And I find that if you're using some of these other bouncy and elastic and all these other easing settings, that they look better when you slow down the scroll. And for this demonstration purpose, I've set it to 3000 milliseconds, which equals 3 seconds. And I will set our animation to, or easing, to ease out, bounce. Let's take a look at that. Refresh our home page again. And let's click on About Us. And there you go. You notice it kind of bounces. That's a little too slow. Let's try it at 2 seconds, which is 2000 milliseconds. Okay. Let's refresh it again. Let's click here. Here we got our bouncing. So you can see that the Genetix Unity plugin is an amazing plugin. It allows you to build very nice one-page websites. So that is our introduction to the Unity one-page website builder from Genetix Web Design and Development. I encourage you to go to our website and subscribe to our newsletter. We are going to be updating this plugin regularly, improving it, adding new features, and we are developing some nice themes for the plugin that you can purchase, and they're all pre-configured and set up. We also have other cool plugins in development such as Genetix Infinity, Easy Parallax Backgrounds, and it will be available soon from Genetix Web Design and Development. You can see it adds really nice parallax effect to your backgrounds, and it can also be applied to your foreground images as well on pages, page backgrounds, page section backgrounds. I encourage you to sign up for our newsletter. Send an email to info@genetixweb.com with the subject subscribe. You'll receive news about our plugins, offers, and also about our workshops on using our plugins and web design, all kinds of tips and tutorials. So you'll get a lot of value out of subscribing to our newsletter. Genetix Unity is available to purchase now from Genetix Web Design and Development. So head on over to our website and purchase a plugin now and get started building fantastic one-page websites. I'm Robert Monroe Turner with Genetix Web Design and Development. Thank you very much for your attention.